Hi, I'm Hilton Samuel of the Love and Relationships Center. And this is the last in the series of 5 powerful ways to save your marriage. In fact, this is the 6th episode, and this is going to be a bonus episode. We've already dealt with 5 different ways. Obviously, you have to be very clear that you want to and you will, and you have dedicated yourself to the fact that you are going to save your marriage. And the second one, there's some attitudes, behaviors, and things that you might be doing that you need to stop. If you're begging, pleading, threatening, or harassing the person to come back to you, those things need to be stopped immediately. Then we suggest that you declare a ceasefire, at least on your side, if you can't have both of you declaring the ceasefire. Stop hurting, stop attacking, stop counterattacking, stop in any way, shape, or form using weapons to demean, to get back at your spouse. And then we look at planting seeds, planting little ideas or doing things that would sow seeds of perhaps love, altruism, and kindness that will germinate into fruits that will eventually give the person a chance to respond in kind. Then we look at attracting your spouse back into your life, and we suggested that there was a time when your spouse was indeed attracted to you and wanted to be with you and eventually agreed to marry you. And during those times there were certain things that were going for you. We said that you should get your life back or have an attractive life. Make sure that you are not only and solely focused on your spouse to give you, to affirm you, to approve you, and to validate you, and to do all these things. Of course, they should be doing that, and they're probably not doing that at this point in time. However, we want you to diversify the sources from which you can get your emotional needs met. If you haven't looked at these videos, we suggest that you pause this video and go back and look at the former episodes, and then you come and resume where you have left off right at this point. Now, how do you live with an unlovable spouse? And that's probably the most challenging thing that you have to deal with right now, that your spouse, your husband, your wife is not a very lovable person. They do hurtful and harmful things. They try to get back at you or demean you. They try to embarrass you. They try to put you down. They sneer at you. They say things that slice your heart, or have done things that deliberately damage and hurt your vulnerable heart and soul. Well, we mentioned before that one of the ways we can do this, and we are going to reiterate and re-emphasize this at this point, is to look beyond the presenting behavior and understand. Maybe you should treat your spouse the way you would treat a child. Understand that there is a need. The way your spouse is behaving, in spite of what they say, there is a need behind that tantrum, that behavior, the angry outburst. And this is what we want to maybe focus on, and not on what we are seeing, because when we focus on what we are seeing, what we are hearing, what we are feeling, what is being presented, then we respond to the symptoms and not the cause. Seek to understand. We spoke about understand the motivating behavior. Like mothers seek to find out what their child is going through, or why the child is throwing a tantrum or screaming or crying, before they look at the presenting behavior. Everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that is happening, these things are only symptoms of an underlying cause. We spoke that Marshall Rosenberg is a person who developed the nonviolent communication movement, NVC, and he says every action is a cry for help. Now, the other thing we can do is to give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes we jump to conclusion because from our perception, from our standpoint, from our perspective, we see things one way. However, it is good to try to see things from the other person's perception. You know, try to empathize with the person. Try to walk in the person's shoes before you begin to judge. And you will find out that sometimes the person may be justified in how they think and how they act, because from their perspective, from their perception, they have been wronged, or some issues might be going on that has nothing to do with you. Could be at the person's work, could be issues from childhood that is actually poking its way into the adulthood of your spouse. So having a look from the person's perspective may help you to understand who you're dealing with, and may help you to be more compassionate and empathetic with the person. Finally, we want to suggest that you should give in, not give up. What's the difference between giving in and not giving up? Giving in is not necessarily about you succumbing or being a doormat or being a rollover. It is just simply accepting that the person may feel a certain way, they may have a certain outlook on their life, and that's just the way it is. We accept that. We give in to that. It doesn't mean that you should give up your particular way of looking at things. You can agree. Some people say agree to disagree. I'm not too sure I fully understand what that means. But, you know, we say, okay, that's your perspective. I accept your perspective, and I could see why you're thinking that way. You know, however, this is the way I look at things, and what you need to work through is to have a win-win situation, not a win-lose situation. You don't want to be the person who come out on top and your spouse feel as if they have been rubbished or hard done by. You want a situation where you feel happy about the resolution and your spouse feels happy about it too. That's what is known as a win-win situation. Okay, that's it for now. If at all you're going through a very bad patch in your relationship, if you are stuck, if you want some help, if you want some support, we are always available to help and support you. Please use our contact address, our email address, to get in touch with us, or if you want an immediate response, please call the number on the screen. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to working with you so that you may regain the love that you deserve, the love that you once had.